Hey everyone. So recently I've been wanting to experiment with an isometric drawing, which is a type of perspective where you can see three sides of a cube at once. This method is often used for architectural plans and it gives a great overview of a whole area. I realised that this was reminding me of the old top-down adventure games like Zelda, so I thought I'd use this technique to draw my own design for a video game world, and it's based on a stately home that I grew up near, which is like a huge mansion with these gardens that have all different pathways and hidden secrets and things to find if you walk around, and that always felt to me like those old games like A Link to the Past. And that's what I've tried to capture in this drawing. So yeah, I started by measuring out this isometric grid which would act as my guide for the rest of the drawing, and then I divided it into these big squares which would act like the screens of the old Zelda maps. Then I could start filling these squares one by one by adding different points of interest, like this tree that would stand out as the tallest one on the map. Next I drew this underwater ballroom which is inspired by the one at Whitley Park in Surrey. And here you can see me outlining the edges of the lake. I then added an island in the lake too, which would be a hard place to reach. And here you can see I'm inking the dome. Next I moved on to this Victorian style greenhouse with curved roofs and a domed top. Now this is, I think, my favourite part of the map. It's a massive hedge maze that spans 4 of the base squares, so I drew this big grid onto it and then mapped out where the maze would go. And it was very satisfying inking all of these straight lines and seeing the geometric shape come together. To fill in some of the empty space at the top, I added this chapel near the house. And I put a little graveyard behind it too. Now this cabin would belong to the groundskeeper and it's nestled in by the main house. And here I'm inking all of the details onto the chapel, including a dead tree and the hedges surrounding it, as well as a stone tablet. Another one of my favourite features is this Asian-inspired building, as stately homes often have gardens and buildings that take inspiration from Asian cultures. Here's a glimpse of a sunken garden I added in, and this miniature fairy tale castle would be a playhouse for the rich children. I also added this walled area nestled in the woods which would have these 2 plinths, and the idea was that one would have a statue and the other would be missing, so there'd be a mystery tied to that. In this zoomed out shot you can see me filling a lot of the empty space by adding different types of trees, and I added this avenue of trees down the main pathway as well. I added this big round hedge with a small opening that looks like it might be hiding something inside, and I thought these gnarly dead branches would contrast well against the other fluffy trees. And another unique type of tree I wanted to add was this monkey puzzle tree. And this is a big oak tree that dominates its own square on the map. And I think it's kind of satisfying to watch the edges be put on the grass. Another feature that I really wanted to include was these pyramid type hedges up by the house. And speaking of the house, here I am measuring up some of the details like the trim and those big tall windows. And towards the end I was starting to run out of ideas to fill the remaining squares, but I decided to add this well and it's become one of my favourite additions. And I finished off the inking by adding these big flower beds in front of the house. And now it's time to colour it in. I'll stop talking for a minute to just let you enjoy the time lapse. So now everything's coloured in, it's time to add the shadows. This is the point where I feel like everything starts to come together and feel connected rather than just objects placed on a flat plane. Also, I think the shadows help give things context and create a specific moment in time, which helps give it much more atmosphere. So while the time-lapse plays, I thought I'd talk a bit more about the concept behind this. So the idea is that you'd have the big house sat there looming over the map during your adventure, but locked off until the end of the game, so you'd have to venture deeper into the gardens and discover secrets and mysteries scattered across the map, and you'd find places like the lake with the inaccessible island and the ballroom with no obvious way to get in, which would spark that sense of adventure to encourage you to explore more. And having spent hours poring over the details of this map, I feel like I'd love to play a classic Zelda 2D style adventure game set in a place like this. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to play this too, and let me know which places you'd want to explore in a top-down adventure. And here's how it turned out. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of the finished outcome and if you'd like to explore this place. As always, let me know down in the comments what you want to see me make next. Oh, and the thing I teased in the Gloomhands video is on its way, just sit tight. See ya!